Hi everyone, my name is Erica. Welcome to today's lecture. I'm one of the volunteers of Paul and Stephen Spiritus Centre, and I'd like to thank you all for taking your time to connect with us at this time. Just wanted to let you know that, Melbourne, as most of you know, is currently in lockdown. So this is the reason why we've gone back to delivering our lectures via the virtually. I must confess that I'm probably not very a big fan of doing the lectures virtually, but as we find ourselves with these, trials and with COVID very rampant in our community, this is the safest and the best way for us to deliver and continue to speak about, what we believe in. Our Paul and Stephen Spiritus Centre has been around for many years, and we normally gather on a Saturday and deliver these messages, physically in Portuguese. And since COVID, we've been delivering them in English. And so I would like to start by also asking, just be patient with me. I haven't delivered one of these in a long time. So a little bit nervous to do this today, but I'll do my best to deliver a good message to you all. So I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land that we meet in today, and pay my respects to the elders past and present, and I extend that respect to the Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islander people here today. And as always, we start with a prayer. So to those of you who want to close your eyes, you can do that. If you want to keep them open, that's okay too. Let's just put aside our, busy day, our worries, anything that might be, taking our mind away from the moment that we find ourselves now, that we are able just to focus on the reasons that we're connecting at this time. And let's elevate our thoughts, our hearts, to the reasons that we're here today, to our God, our Father, to Jesus, that we are able to together learn to connect with one another at this time, and that we are able to put into practice the teachings that Jesus has left for us to learn. And let's start with our Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So be it. Thank you. Okay. So today, as always, we'll be talking about a passage from the Gospel according to Spiritism. And the chapter we are referring to today is chapter 2, My Kingdom is Not of This World. And we're talking about the future life and how life is actually short. Okay, so I'll start off by saying, when Jesus talked about my kingdom is not of this world, what did he actually really mean? Some of the teachings that he left for us, we can still say applies to us today. It fits perfectly into our daily lives, and what we bring is a broader talk about, how does that fit in our daily lives at the moment. For those who normally join us and listen to our lectures, and I would say most of you believe in Spiritism or have some kind of belief that maybe we are more than what we are today. So we are more than just the body and the physical. You may have an understanding or have questions about, what happens after we leave the earth. Is there a future life? Have we been here before? And some of you have that acceptance and understanding that that's what we do, that we are more than what we are physically. As Spiritists, we believe that we have lived here on earth before, that we have reincarnated in the physical body that we are at the moment, and that this body is something that has been given to us for us to advance morally, spiritually, and to evolve into a true reflection of who we are. God has given us those abilities to incarnate on this earth, and given us the tools that we need for us to advance and to live a full life. And it's just up to us to understand what it is that we are here for. So talking about a future life and what it means for us to be here at this time. And why is it that, Jesus said that his kingdom is not of this world? So going back to the reasons why Jesus came to earth, he came to teach us what we needed to do for us, because we all have a purpose in life, and the life that we live here is quite short. So whether we live, 60, 80, 90 years, those live to 100, it is a small period of time, considering if we believe that we are primarily spirit and and we live an infinite life, that, what's that in equation to an infinity? So if you were to live, say, for 100 years, if we get that far, what is that against the infinity? How is it that we are going to, how is it that, we're thinking, we could live for a long time, but in actual essence, our life here on earth is quite short. And what is it that we need to do to live a full life? And that isn't just about, living and, getting the best of everything and living life to the fullest and partying and this and that, because we know life is short. It doesn't mean that we can't do that. It just means that we need to look at, what it is that we need to make our life useful, to live our life to the best of our abilities, and also what is it that we're going to do for our advancement. Let's just think about, if we were to live 100 years, how would you like to live that? And when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about on the physical and the material sense. At the moment, we will talk about that too. But at the moment, I'm talking about, our advancement morally. If you think about you today and think about you 10 years ago, is there a difference in how you lived? Have you advanced in the sense of, have you learnt to forgive? Have you put into practice your, love and charity? Are any of the morally, have you been able to eliminate some of the vices that you may have had? Have you been able to reduce some of the vices? What is it that you can do to make your life a happier life? Make your life more fulfilling. I think we reach a stage in life at some stage, in our, as we progress and we become older, we do reach that stage where we think there has to be more to life than, getting up, going to work every day. At the moment, some of us can't. Some of us are faced with some of those challenges. But is life just about work, making money and spending money? We do have those questions. I know I have those questions as I get older. I think to myself, there has to be more than just work. We need to have enjoyment. We need to have fulfillment. And what does that look like to me? And that's a very individual question, because each and every one of us will think differently, will feel differently, and we all have our own missions in itself. So for me, living a fulfilling life is going to be very different to anyone else. We're very individuals, and we have our own journey and our own paths that we need to follow. But we can only be the ones to say what that is going to look like. We're the only ones that can say, you know, am I happy? What is it that makes me happy? And because life is so short, you know, if something was to happen and I wasn't going to be here tomorrow, have I lived my best life? Have I lived the best version of myself? You know, and what is it that I need to make it so that when I do go to bed at night time, I have made the most of that day? Have I used that day to be happy, to make others happy, to, you know, do those things that I need to do. Firstly, to live in the physical world. So whether it be work, eat, just the everyday stuff. So the routine. Have I made that the best that I can? Have I put myself in a situation where I can not only help myself, but I can help those around me? Sometimes we are the instrument of the divine intervention to help those placed in our paths. Maybe we could be the only person for that day who says hello to someone, who goes and checks in on that person. Maybe that is, to us, is a small thing, but to someone, it's a very big thing. So what is it that we need to do? And sometimes we think that, you know, oh, it's not my place. Or, you know, sometimes we don't want to think about, you know, what it is that we can do because somebody else could be doing the same. You know, I'll let somebody else do it. There is no reason why you can't be that person. There is no reason why you can't say, well, today I'm going to do this for this person, because who knows, that may not happen at all from someone else. So if life is short and we're here for a small period of time, what happens when we live this life? Where do we go? What do we do? So if you think about, leaving the earth and have the belief that life goes on after here, what is it that we're going to take with us to make our life in the other world better, in the spiritual world? If you believe that we have lived before and we're living again, and once we leave this earth, that we go into a spiritual world, or we go into another world, whichever way you want to look at it or call it, what are we going to take with us so that we are finding ourselves in a better position, in a better situation when we enter the spiritual world? Because we as spiritists believe that when we've lived before and we're living here again in this time, that God has given us this opportunity for us to improve, to evolve. So have we done that to the best of our abilities, or the best that we can? Are we practicing forgiveness? Are we practicing understanding? Do we look at somebody who is in our lives as a friend or a foe? Do we respect their opinions? Do we respect their ideas? Do we understand that we are part of a bigger picture and we have our own journeys and allow for, that in our lives? Are we trying to learn and see what we're about? What makes us happy? What makes us unhappy? Are we doing that self-reflection so that we can have a look and see, well, you know, what I did today probably wasn't the best, or how I dealt with the situation probably wasn't the best, but what is it that I can do to make that better next time if I'm faced with the same situation? What can I do to make things different? Make the experience different, make the experience better, not just for me, but for my others around me, for my family and friends. Sometimes we have been placed in certain situations and we find ourselves in that situation again. You know, what do we do with that? Do we see and accept that maybe that's something that we need to learn from? Do we see that, do we actually understand that sometimes those situations are being placed in our path because we need to do something about it. We need to learn. We need to make things different. And until we do that, we might be faced with situations over and over again because we still haven't learnt from what it is that we need to do in that particular situation. So in saying that, if we are able to analyze our lives, at the end of the day, do we do a mental check and the things that we did and the things that we should have done and the things that we didn't do that we could have done? And if we do, are we happy with what we did? Are we happy? And if we are, that's fantastic. Continue doing what we're doing. But if there's something that you could do a little bit better, or is there something that you could have done a little bit different? Are we going to make a commitment to do that so that we can become better and advance? It's very easy for us to plateau through life and just work and eat and see friends and do all the things that make us feel good. But that's great. If we can do that, that's great. And we do live here on earth and we do need to have those things, because if we don't do those things, then we're not also living our physical life. It's not about, let's just think about what we can do spiritually, what we can do to make us better and just work on the spiritual side of things. We are here on this earth and we do still need to live our physical life. So we need to look after the physical life just as much as we need to look at our spiritual life. So what is it that we can do to fulfill our day, to make our day worthwhile? That you can turn around and say, yep, I can sleep in peace today because I've done the best that I can. How is that going to look like your day tomorrow? So is it forgiving? Do you stop and say, well, you know what, I probably could have been a little bit more forgiving? If you were to leave this earth quickly, suddenly, which many people do, how is it that you're going to live it? How are you going to leave the earth? Are you going to take with you some of the knowledge that you've learned? Are you going to leave behind a good legacy of yourself? Have you embraced all those challenges that you were given, that were placed in front of you to manage? And sometimes those challenges that we are faced with are placed there for us, to help us. It's a tool. If you think of Earth as being a school, and the trials and tribulations and the challenges, and also the happy moments that are placed in life, in our lives, as the teachings, as the materials that we have been given to learn. How are we, what part of that study or the growth or the learning are we at? Have we come to Earth just to plateau and just to live life as this is all there is? There's nothing more, nothing less. Once we finish this life, there's nothing. So if we believe that that's the case, that's when we don't really live our life to the fullest, because we are not utilizing this journey that God has given us for us to make the most of it. Because we believe as spiritists that there are many spirits waiting to reincarnate, to be given the opportunity that we have been given. So if we are here, we've been blessed with this particular life, we've been blessed with this physical body. So how is it that we are going to live this life so that we can be the best version of ourselves? And if we were to go into the future life, once that, I guess that's the only guarantee we have in life, isn't it? That we are born and that we one day will leave this earth. So That's one of the guarantees that we have. That's the only guarantee we have, is that we will one day live this life. There are no other guarantees in life. So if this is the case, and you need to forgive my cat, he likes to join us in some of the teachings and some of the lessons that I have virtually. So he likes to be part of that. But sorry, I've lost my train of thought. So if we, you know, the guarantee that we have that we one day will live this life. So how are we going to live this life? What are we taking with us? You know, what are we putting in that suitcase when we go to the next journey? What is it that we can have that we can take with us? We can't take our money. We can't take our cars, our houses. What is it that we can take with us? If we believe that, well, we do leave our body behind when we leave, but as we go to the future life, we only go with our spirit. Can't take anything materially. So what are we taking with our spirit, with ourselves, with our essence? Because we are spirit before we are body. So our essence is the spirit that actually manifests through our body. So what are we taking with us when we go into the future life? Because life could be very short, shorter than we think. Even 60, 70, 80, 90 years, 100 years is still short when we look at the bigger picture, when we look at the infinity and how long our spirit will live for. If we've lived before, we're living now and we'll live again. And you think about the earthly life, the earthly years that we live here, that's very short. So let's live our life to the best that we can. Grab every opportunity for us to do better. And if we don't, what is it that we're going to do so that we can do better next time? Because we need to also be kind to ourselves. Understand that we are learning. Understand that we may also not do things right all the time. That's not what this is about. That's not why we're here in life, why we're here on earth. We're not here to be perfect. We are here to learn to be perfect in the future. If we were perfect, we wouldn't need to come to the earth anymore. If we were, 100% kind and 100% understanding and forgiving and all of those virtues, we wouldn't need to reincarnate anymore. We would be perfect. We would be an angel. But we're not. We're here because we need to learn. We're here because there's something that God has said you can reincarnate so that you can advance, so that you can be better. He gives us all that opportunity. Everybody has their own journey. We don't always have the same thing that we need to learn. And what I had to do last incarnation could be different to what I need to do in this incarnation. And from this incarnation to the next will be different again. So let's try and work with the tools that we've been given, the challenges, and also not just challenges. Let's not think about the negative. Let's look at the good things that we've been given as well. You know, a great job, family, friends, some people that are placed in our past that are like family who are just friends. So God has given us all the things that we need to work with to help us evolve. It's up to us to work out what that is and how that looks and how it fits in your daily life. Because there's another guarantee that we start a day and we end a day. What do we do within those 24 hours that God has given us is what is going to be important for us. Because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't even know if we'll be here tomorrow. But the guarantee is that if you are being blessed with a start of the day and the end of the day, you can always work and do something better tomorrow. So Jesus' words, "My kingdom is not of this world," means that there isn't just this world that we live in. That Jesus didn't just come to this world and that's all there is. Jesus wanted to teach us that there is more to life than what we live here. And in 2021, that we're living right now, we can see some of the changes that our world is going through. We've been placed in a very difficult situation now with this pandemic, where a lot of us have been tested. Our lives have been turned upside down. People have lost family. People have lost houses and businesses, and people have lost jobs. You know, and I'm talking worldwide. I'm not just talking about Australia and Victoria, because you know, I know a lot of friends who are suffering because of you know, the lockdowns and COVID. And a lot of friends overseas that have lost family and friends, and you know, the world is in turmoil. But how do we deal with that? How do we make it so that we are able to evolve still with the turmoil that we're going through? What is it that we need to do in our daily lives to make it through these challenging times? Because that is how it's going to help us go through life. That if we're having a bad day today, how do we make a good day tomorrow? Because we need to look after ourselves too. It's not just about helping those around us. We need care. We need to be kind to ourselves, and we need to also forgive ourselves for when we do something that's not right. Because we're learning. Because God is our Father, and He will forgive us as much as we are willing to help and learn. So I guess the message that I wanted to deliver today is that even though life is short and can be short, we are given the opportunity every day so that we can make our lives a little better. So I want to thank you all for being here today, listening to my lecture about future life and how life is short. I hope that you are able to reflect on some of those words, reflect on some of the messages that Jesus has left for us, the teachings that He left for us, the law of love and charity and forgiveness, and that you are able to put into practice some of those teachings that He's left for us. And as always, when we get to the end of our gathering, that we'd like to connect together again with our guides and mentors, and also have a little bit of a time where we send out some love to those who may be in need. So I'd like to invite you all to also gather in that thought. So you can either close your eyes or keep them open, whatever makes you happy. And let's just think of those who we know who are in need, those who may be going through some trials and tribulations themselves, experiencing some hardship, that we are able to send some of our love, send some light to them so that they are able to receive a bit of comfort and love in such trials and challenges that they are facing. That we are able to send some love to all the countries in this world, that we are able to together as a world think of this planet healing, that we are able to imagine some light, some petals of white roses falling on this planet, helping the healing process, helping each and every one, bringing some love, bringing some hope to each and everyone's lives, in the hope of a better future, in the hope that we are able to together as the world evolve and bring togetherness to each and every country. And now let's think of those closer to home, our families and our friends. Let's involve them in a white light, bringing them love and bringing them hope and bringing them close to our hearts. I like to thank God for giving me this opportunity to be here today. I'd like to ask also that together we are able to elevate our thoughts and our hearts to the messages and to the actual teachings that we have received from Jesus and through the gospel according to Spiritism. Thank you, guides, and thank you, Jesus. So be it. Thanks, everyone, and hope to see you next time. Have a good Saturday. Bye for now.